Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Today, we're diving deep into an intriguing situation that's been making waves around the NFL, especially among Cowboys fans. It's about the ongoing saga of the Dallas Cowboys and their cautious approach when it comes to upgrading their secondary, specifically the cornerback position. Now, the big question that's floating around is, why haven't we seen the Cowboys make a move yet to sign a veteran cornerback? You'd think with the season just around the corner, the team would be pulling out all the stops, right? But no, the Cowboys seem to be playing a different game this offseason. They're holding back, waiting, watching their young guys develop and trying to figure out exactly what they have in-house before making any big moves. And honestly, this approach might seem a little frustrating to some fans, especially those eager for a splashy signing that instantly boosts the secondary. But there's more to it than meets the eye, and today, we're going to break down all the reasons behind this cautious stance, including what some of the biggest names on the market are thinking about, and how it all connects to the Cowboys' long-term plans. So let's start by looking at the current state of the Cowboys' cornerback room. It's a mix of promising young talent and experienced veterans, but overall, it's a unit that still has some questions. Trayvon Diggs, for example, is rehabbing his knee after a season that was full of ups and downs. Fans are optimistic about his return, which could come around mid-season, but until then, the secondary has to operate without their top playmaker on the field consistently. Diggs' injury creates a bit of a gap that needs to be filled, and that's where the team's focus on internal development comes into play. Meanwhile, Darren Bland, who stepped up last year as a reliable corner, continues to impress and is expected to be a key piece in the Cowboys' secondary. He's shown flashes of shutdown ability, and his versatility allows Dallas to deploy him in multiple roles. But outside of Bland, there's still some uncertainty. Young players like Kalen Carson are still developing, and rookies like Siobhan Reeler are trying to get healthy from their injuries, hoping to contribute when the regular season kicks off. It's a delicate balancing act for the coaching staff, trying to evaluate what they have, what they need, and how to best allocate resources without jumping the gun. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but what about those veteran cornerbacks out there? The guys with proven track records who could step in immediately and make an impact. Well, that's precisely where the Cowboys' philosophy comes into focus. They're not just chasing a big name for the sake of it. Instead, they're taking a patient approach, preferring to see how their current roster unfolds before committing to a high-priced veteran. This approach aligns with their long-term strategy of sustainable building and financial flexibility. The NFL is a business, after all, and the Cowboys are no strangers to making shrewd moves when it comes to managing their cap space. But it's also about evaluating the talent already in-house and giving their young players a real shot at earning their spots. One name that's been making headlines in this context is Asante Samuel Jr., a talented cornerback who is currently a free agent. Samuel, the son of the former NFL star Asante Samuel, is no stranger to the league. He was a second-round pick back in 2021 by the Los Angeles Chargers, and since then, he's shown flashes of brilliance, totaling 6 interceptions over his 50 regular season games. That's not a bad stat line at all. But Samuel's situation is complicated. He's been dealing with injury issues, particularly after having neck surgery in April. Last year, he only played 4 games, which raises questions about his health and availability. Recently, Samuel visited the Saints, but reports indicate that he's planning to wait until summer before making a decision on his future. He's taking a cautious approach, and that makes sense given his recent injury history. He's confident he'll be ready for the 2025 season, but right now, the focus is on recovering and proving he's healthy enough to contribute at a high level. This brings us to an interesting point about the Cowboys' interest, or rather, their lack of urgency, when it comes to signing veteran corners like Samuel. It's not that they're ignoring the possibility, but rather, they're waiting for the right situation to present itself. Spotrac, a well-known sports contract and salary cap website, projects Samuel to get a 4-year, $46 million deal in free agency. And honestly, that sounds a bit excessive, especially considering his recent injury history and limited playing time last year. If that deal were to materialize, it's unlikely that the Cowboys would get involved, at least not right now. They're more inclined to wait and see if Samuel can stay healthy, and if he's willing to accept a more affordable contract that fits their cap situation. The team's primary goal is to build a secondary that can hold up throughout the season, especially with Trayvon Diggs' potential mid-season return and the development of their younger players. They want to see if guys like Siobhan Reeler or even rookie Kalen Carson can step up and fill those roles, rather than rushing into a big-money signing that might not be sustainable. But why the delay? It's all about patience and strategic planning. The Cowboys have been here before. They've seen what happens when they jump into high-profile signings too early. Sometimes it works out, but often, it leads to cap issues down the line or a mismatch of expectations. Plus, with Samuel's injury concerns, it's understandable that Dallas is taking a cautious approach. They're not rushing to fill a hole that might be temporary. Instead, they're giving their current players the chance to prove they're ready to take on the responsibility, and if they don't, then the team can explore veteran options later in the season or even during the next offseason. Of course, fans are eager for a quick fix. The hunger for a veteran upgrade is real, and I totally get it. After all, we all want to see this secondary tighten up and become one of the best in the league. But smart football decisions often mean patience. Remember last year's campaign, where the Cowboys' defense showed flashes of brilliance but also moments of vulnerability? They're aware of that, and their coaching staff is probably thinking, let's see what we have before we make a big splash. It's about maximizing value and avoiding unnecessary cap hits, especially with a team that's built to contend now but also needs to keep options open for the future. This approach also ties into the broader picture of the Cowboys' roster management. They've invested heavily in their offense, notably with Dak Prescott leading a high-powered attack that's capable of putting up points in bunches. Their defense has been a work in progress, but the foundation is there. They're looking for that one or two players who can elevate the unit without breaking the bank. Veteran corners like Stephon Gilmore, who's already been part of the team, are in the mix, but even he is getting up there in age. The Cowboys front office is probably thinking, let's see how our young guys develop, and if we need to make a move mid-season, we will. Now, let's talk about the long-term outlook. The Cowboys are a franchise with a rich history of great defenses and legendary players in the secondary. Think about the days of Deion Sanders, Everson Walls, and more recently, players like Terrence Newman and Orlando Scandrick. The modern Cowboys are aiming to build a secondary that can be both versatile and resilient, capable of shutting down the league's best receivers. That means giving their younger players a chance to grow, while also keeping the door open for strategic veteran signings if the right opportunity arises. It's about balancing immediate needs with future stability, which is no easy task in today's NFL. And speaking of future stability, it's worth noting that the Cowboys' current draft picks and young talents are showing promise. Siobhan Reeler, despite his injury setbacks, has a lot of potential. Kalen Carson, a rookie, has flashed moments of brilliance in training camp, but he still needs to develop consistency and experience. The coaching staff is high on these young players, and they want to see how much they can contribute before pulling out the big guns. It's a smart move, really, because rushing into a veteran signing that costs a lot of money might limit the opportunities for these young guys to earn their spots and gain valuable experience. So, what does all of this mean for the upcoming season? Well, it's a wait-and-see approach for now. The Cowboys are betting on their internal development, hoping that Diggs, Bland, and their young prospects step up and form a reliable secondary unit. But they're also prepared to act if the situation demands it, if a veteran like Samuel or someone else becomes available at the right price and health status. It's a delicate dance, and honestly, that's what makes this offseason so interesting for Cowboys fans. You're watching a team that's aiming to strike the right balance between immediate competitiveness and long-term sustainability. They're not just chasing headlines, they're building a roster that can compete at the highest level for years to come. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you think the team should make a bold move now, or is patience the better strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys, because this is a team built by the fans, for the fans. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for all the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Until then, keep the faith, enjoy the season, and let's see how the story unfolds. Because one thing's for sure, Cowboys Nation is always in the game, always watching, and always ready for more.